Heyo and Merry Rusev Day, everybody. Thank you for checking out Sledgehammer TV tonight, Smackdown Live. Absolutely, as always, is one of the better productions that the WWE puts on as far as the main roster is concerned. But this episode ended very, very, very strangely, and we are going to talk about it right here and right now. My name is Nick Nightmare, and you are watching the Sledgehammer Wrestling Show Smackdown Live review. Let's do it.
The Sledgehammer Wrestling Show.
Alright, wrestling fans, thank you so much for joining me once again on your holiday week, and I thank you very much for taking time out from your very busy, family schedule, and gotta go back to work today being Wednesday, and we're all looking forward to New Year's Eve coming up this weekend so we can erase 2018 from our memory banks, as it has by far been one of the worst years in the WWE main product that there has ever been. And SmackDown Live, as we said, is usually the better of the two shows, and it continues to follow that trend this week, even in this pre-taped Christmas special, which kicked off in a very cringe-like fashion, but they liked to do something interesting for once, and they inserted Daniel Bryan to make me give a shit. That's the way the WWE was going about all of SmackDown Live tonight. Let me clarify a little bit. It's pretty much 50-50 on every single segment all the way down the board. With everything that they did good, there is a little bit, if not a huge amount, of bad that came with the very same decisions they make. Well, what are you talking about, Mr. Nightmare? I don't understand. I enjoyed SmackDown Live tonight. There was a lot of good action. Absolutely. That's to be expected. That's what we say every week, because they have a better focus on the in-ring action. They actually, in my opinion, have some of the better talents in all of the WWE on that roster for SmackDown Live, like a Mustafa Ali, who's making a big impact on SmackDown Live right now, like Andrade, Daniel Bryan, AJ Styles, Shinsuke Nakamura, Rusev, all these people who we've seen tonight. And I understand that not everybody can win every single matchup. There needs to be a winner and there needs to be a loser, but the choices the WWE make when they choose these winners and losers is most of my problem with SmackDown Live. But if we're going to start with the biggest issue that I have with this show, it is mostly coming from that last 2 minutes when Mr. Creepy Eyeballs himself, Vince McMahon, shows up at the end of the show waiting to talk to AJ Styles. AJ Styles has not been on the show tonight. He's backstage, he's walking around, he's dressed for competition, but he has no match, he has no segment outside of closing the show opposite of Vince McMahon, who's trying to fire up AJ Styles. Is he trying to get under his skin? Vince McMahon wants to see the real AJ Styles. What the hell are you talking about, old man? Are you truly going senile? Who is writing this? Because I don't understand it. AJ Styles has been on a tear since he's come to the WWE. AJ Styles 2018 was spent, for the majority of it, as the WWE Heavyweight Champion of the world. He has shown his intensity. He has shown his animal side in feuds against Shinsuke Nakamura, and more notably, in everything that he went through with Samoa Joe. So now here's AJ Styles, the perennial good guy, probably the biggest and best babyface in all of the WWE right now. And he wants him fired up. He wants to see his animal side. He's got a deep black hole in his heart. Vince McMahon wants to say he and AJ Styles are almost one and the same. They're a lot alike. I don't understand any of this that he's saying. What is it in reference to? What the hell is he talking about? Why would he be saying these things to AJ Styles? Why would he slap AJ Styles in the face? Vince McMahon and AJ Styles have had zero to do with one another since he's come to the WWE. This is so out of place and so out of nowhere that it just totally blew my mind. What is he trying to do? Are you going to turn the biggest babyface in the company heel? That would make no sense. SmackDown Live is pretty much the land of heels. They need an AJ Styles to go up against the Daniel Bryans and the Shinsuke's and the Randy Ortons and the Andrade Cien Almases. All of the good heels that are actually already, solidified on this roster. Vince McMahon does not need an on-air role. I don't want to see him every week. Did you see the slap he threw? My 6-year-old could slap me better than Vince McMahon slapped AJ Styles in the face. And that one slap is what sent AJ Styles over the edge. AJ Styles assaults Vince McMahon with one punch and then stands there seething over him. All the road agents coming to the back, pulling AJ Styles out of there. And then Vince McMahon's laying on the floor with a fucking smile on his face. I don't understand it. It doesn't make sense. And no matter what road they're deciding to go down, if Vince McMahon is putting himself in an angle with AJ Styles, I'm already not interested. It's bad enough we got Shane McMahon showing up tonight, taking the Miz's invitation to be the best tag team in the world. Please, let me throw up right now. I want to just shut it off at that moment. Are you serious? The SmackDown Live tag team division is full of actual tag teams that you don't use, that you don't push, that don't matter to WWE Creative, and you're going to form this tag team that involves an aged Shane McMahon and The Miz, who is probably one of the best heels the WWE has ever seen. He's got generic heel heat. People genuinely dislike him. People don't want to see The Miz succeed. It's coming off very awkwardly. The Miz does not come off as a babyface to me at all. And then he's just telling this story about his dad, telling him that Shane McMahon is a daredevil and a this and that, and you guys will be the best team in the world. So The Miz is now making his professional wrestling decisions based on his dad's opinions. And if that is truly what The Miz's dad thinks, which I doubt, this is just more bad WWE writing. If that conversation actually happened between The Miz and his dad, I think The Miz should take his dad to get his head checked and make sure everything's alright up there. Because that is asinine. There is so much talent on that roster that if you were The Miz, is Shane McMahon going to be your go-to guy? I don't care where this is leading. Are they going to break up very unceremoniously on the way to the big WrestleMania 35 that's going to be right here in my hometown of New York City and have Shane McMahon versus The Miz at WrestleMania? I don't fucking care. This was an absolute waste of my time. Just as much of a waste of time as R-Truth and Carmelfa coming out doing that ridiculous opening segment that just made me want to cringe to the bone. Nothing that was done in that particular angle makes sense as well. Shane and The Miz I didn't want to see it from the minute they started to hint it. And the fact that they've been dragging it on, and it's been months now since that stupid tournament where they crowned the best wrestler in the world, and Shane McMahon is walking around as the best wrestler in the world. That's making us all want to take a huge dump every time we hear it. It makes zero sense. I don't want to see it. The McMahons have come back to take control, but now we're inserting McMahons into every facet of this fucking show. I don't understand it. Please, you guys, help me understand what the hell that AJ Styles segment was about and why the hell we need to see Shane McMahon and The Miz as the best tag team in the world. Please, I don't want to say it. This is ridiculous. 2019 is shaping up to give us a whole lot more of the same. We knew Vince trolled us last week. We talked about it last night on Monday Night Raw Review. We all knew he was full of shit. He fed us a bunch of bullshit and a bunch of lies. And then if you watch SmackDown Live, some of you guys are going to be like, this guy is crazy. This guy don't know what he's talking about. You're damn wrong. You are damn wrong, because I see this shit for what it is. And what I see is a whole lot more of the same. You want to dress it up by having a Mustafa Ali versus Andrade Cien Almas on this night. Great match. That is a great singles match. But look at how they booked it. Andrade Cien Almas has done what to make you care about his character. He's on the show 1 week, he's not on the show for 2 weeks, then he comes back, and every time he comes back, his only reason for being there is to lose to somebody who the WWE wants to push for one reason or another. Like Daniel Bryan. Or he loses to AJ Styles. He loses to everybody he goes up against in the ring, with the exception of R-Truth, since he's pretty much come up from NXT. So, him losing to a Mustafa Ali who is just getting started is kind of counterproductive. Andrade Cien Almas needs to build momentum. He needs to become somebody that people give a shit about when he's in the ring. I give a shit about him just based off of what I've seen in his career in NXT, and they just kill him more and more every time he comes out there. On the positive side, a guy like Mustafa Ali getting a big win on a SmackDown Live is a great thing. But how big of a win is it over Andrade Cien Almas? Almas has become a jobber, and all he is doing is putting other people over. Why would it have been so bad after coming off a huge win, surprise win over the champion last week, for Mustafa Ali to lose to Andrade Cien Almas and now have a reason to want to fight with Andrade Cien Almas to regain that win, get his win back, just to get some measure of vengeance on this guy that just came out of nowhere and beat him probably in a heel-like fashion. Make Andrade Cien Almas cheat. Let him be the next coming of an Eddie Guerrero, because he can do that. He's got a beautiful manager on the outside that is not doing anything but standing there tapping on the mat instead of trying to get the attention of a young Mustafa Ali, drawing his eyes to her, getting involved without being physical, causing a distraction of some sort to allow Andrade Cien Almas to get the win, and now you have some meat to build this feud on. What, are we just going to have Mustafa Ali just come out here and just start beating everybody now? I need things to make sense. There needs to be story. And I just don't understand it. Again, 50-50. It's great that Ali is getting a win, but when you look at what they've done to Andrade Cien Almas, you just can't really get behind it. Or at least I can't. Let's go on to the tag team matchup for this night. The tag team division, like we talked about last night, is just a mess. We know it. We talk about it every week. And you're going to say, oh, well, we got to see Sanity. Thank God. We have Sanity's on SmackDown Live. Oh, Gallows and Anderson are on SmackDown Live. And what do they do with them? They put them in this big 8-man tag team match. We got the Usos and Gallows and Anderson versus the Bar and Sanity. And then you got the New Day out there on commentary dressed like 3 fucking idiots, absolutely ruining this match on commentary. I wish they would stop doing this with the New Day. It is not imperative that we see the New Day on every single episode of SmackDown Live. It is not important enough to have them out there acting like jackasses, dressed up like retards, and just acting a fool on the announce table. It's not entertaining to me. If anything, it is the exact opposite, because it is just shitting all over the tag team division. There were too many bodies out there as it is, and it just didn't make sense. Instead of having decent regular tag team matchups, getting wins and losses for these people, building momentum for a Gallows and Anderson, they're just going to come out of nowhere, cold, nobody gives a shit. Carl Anderson wants to wear these ridiculous blue trunks that don't match his partner, so now they don't even look like a tag team anymore, and now you guys give them the win. They pin the champions to get a win for the Usos and Gallows and Anderson over the Bar, the champions, and Sanity, who have another member on the outside of the ring that should have been able to be more effective in this matchup. The booking is just ridiculous. We've been waiting and waiting for the return of Sanity, and they come back and lose. They listen to us, though, right? How is that listening to us? Because the Gallows and Anderson, the club, actually got a pin for once? Did you really care? Is this going to set them up for a program with the Bar? It's not the way to do it. In this big mishmash of every tag team that you have. And they don't even give you any real story of what's to come. All you got is Corey Graves. Oh, well, that's got to put them in line for a shot at the championships. How? Why? Why? I hate the way they go about all these things. And none of it really makes sense. And it was just a waste. They just took the entire tag team division and said, all right, go out there. New Day, go out there because you're part of the tag team division, so everybody wants to know what you think about this match, even though you have nothing to do with what's going on. And then we have to have 20 minutes of Shane McMahon and The Miz sitting in the middle of the ring talking about daddy issues and being the best tag team in the world. Immediately after seeing 5 other teams that should be able to say the same thing, especially in the case of the Usos, who are now just being lost in the shuffle. And I can't get behind that. Where are they going to go with this? Who the hell knows? All I know is it continues to not make sense. Was the match good? Yeah, it was okay. Most of the matches tonight that took place were very good. But nothing makes sense, and that's why the hammer comes down. Samoa Joe and Jeff Hardy continue this very personal battle between one another. Joe wants to keep throwing out Jeff Hardy's old addictions, all these things that he supposedly has under control right now, and it brought Jeff Hardy to such an insanity level tonight that he was overly aggressive with Samoa Joe towards the end of their encounter on the outside of the ring, and it caused the referee to just throw the match out. Logic would tell you that if 2 wrestlers are brawling outside of the ring, the referee is to remain inside the ring and administer the count. Why? They could have had everything else that they did happen exactly as they did. But the fact that the ref just threw this match out while these guys were outside the ring for upwards of 15-20 seconds before he decided to throw the match out makes my brain fizzle, because why isn't this guy just counting? Why is he out there trying to separate 2 wrestlers from wrestling? Does that make sense to you? He should have stayed in the ring, counted to 10, got a double count out on both of these guys while they continue to brawl on the outside. Who thought of this? It's little things like this that drive a guy like me insane. You're just going to throw the match out? You're going to just take the rule book of wrestling and wipe your ass with it? You're going to try to be different and creative? Like, when does that happen? When does that happen in wrestling? That happens when the bell rings and the match is over and the guys continue to brawl and brawl. Then the referee starts to get involved and try to separate it and stop it, stop it, stop it. You don't stop wrestlers from wrestling during a wrestling match. And if the action is going on outside, you're supposed to be counting to 10. You would have had the exact same outcome. And it would have came off better. At least in my opinion. And the match here happening again so quickly. Just, it's like a free giveaway. Instead of continuing to build the story and do some interesting backstage things, have Samoa Joe continue to just assault Jeff Hardy from out of nowhere, or vice versa, have Jeff Hardy finally snap and start being a little bit more like Brother Nero and then hitting up and attacking everybody in the back, or Samoa Joe, not everybody, Jeff Hardy didn't go that crazy, but just continue to try to show Samoa Joe that he's not going to take his shit, and you have all these pull-apart brawls and things of that nature in the back and interesting interview segments. That's how you prolong this thing until we get to maybe the Royal Rumble and you have a one-on-one blow-off match to finalize this feud, and then they could both be in the Royal Rumble later on that night. Why is that so hard? I don't understand it. So Samoa Joe defeats Jeff Hardy by disqualification because the ref doesn't know how to count to 10. I don't get it. We see the Usos in the back, all happy about being part of the winning team tonight. I wouldn't have been as happy as they were. I don't give a shit if it was Christmas time and hanging out with my brother in the back. If me and my brother were being treated the way the Usos were being treated, we would be much more vocal and be probably just be done with everything the WWE wants to do with us. But be that as it may, Jimmy Uso and his brother Jay are hanging out in the back. Merry Christmas, Us, we got this, whatever. And then Jimmy Uso is going to go find his wife, and he ends up underneath the mistletoe with Mandy Rose. This doesn't go very far at all, but it did actually make me feel better about everything, because Naomi would actually give a shit about the Golden Goddess trying to get her husband to give her a little smoochy smooch under the mistletoe And if you follow either one of these girls on social media, you know that they're constantly getting at each other. They are trying to build something, and I can kind of get behind it. At least it's focusing on two singular females, and maybe this program will get off the ground based off of what happened here on Christmas. Because I don't know about you, I'm a married man. If I were to see my wife underneath the mistletoe with some guy, and I see him trying to get in on some smooches, I'm going to do exactly what Naomi did. I'm going to throw my friggin' shoes at this guy. I'm going to go at him. I was appreciative of the fact that they respected the marriage angle, which is not something they do very often. I was afraid that Jimmy was actually going to go in and get that little kiss from Mandy Rose, just so that they can have some sort of a love triangle interesting thing going on. But it's clearly just a case of Mandy Rose trying to fuck with Naomi, and Naomi ain't trying to have it, and she went off in a big way. And that I like. That I like. These are the little things. It took, maybe about 30 seconds that you should be inserting into angles and into storylines to make it interesting, to make you give a shit, to do something a little bit different. And now Naomi versus Mandy will be something you're going to be looking forward to seeing. Because this girl's just trying to get at her man now. And it makes it have a reason to be happening. It's not just a randomly booked segment. We didn't see the SmackDown Live Women's Champion tonight. We didn't see Becky Lynch or Charlotte Flair tonight. So it wasn't much going on in the women's division as it is, but there's a big negative. If you're talking about the show overall, the hottest property on SmackDown Live was not there for Christmas. What? I'm sure there were a lot of fans that were just completely exhausted because they had to sit through back-to-back tapings that they probably didn't even realize it, because they saw Becky Lynch on the last week's episode, which was live. So when they went through the secondary SmackDown Live episode, the crowd didn't give a shit. Or they just didn't even notice. I noticed, and that's why we're here. Rusev defeats Shinsuke Nakamura to win the United States Championship. This was a great match. Great match for both men. But you can clearly see the negative effects of the way the WWE does things, because Shinsuke Nakamura, who has been the clear-cut heel in his run in the last 6 to 8 months since he hit AJ Styles in the balls, is still getting cheered. Opposite Rusev Day, Rusev was the biggest thing going in the WWE, and now that you have the fans with the Rusev Day chant being followed by the Nakamura chant, the crowd being 50-50 on this thing just shows you the WWE is failing at building their characters in the proper way. Look at what Daniel Bryan's going through right now. Daniel Bryan can't show up without getting booed out of the building. And this was one of the most beloved guys in all of the WWE universe. They got it right there. Daniel Bryan knows what he's doing. This match just felt like two guys who are in-betweeners, Rusev truly being the babyface, but Shinsuke Nakamura still getting a lot of support from the crowd. The guy still has a lot of fans, and it just makes it a little bit more awkward when you're watching the match, because as a person watching at home, if you're watching for the first time, you don't know who to root for in this scenario. And it makes it confusing. I am very grateful that Rusev took the United States strap off of Nakamura, because it was pretty much dead around his waist as we got to this point. But are they going to do anything more interesting with Rusev Day? Are we going to see Shinsuke Nakamura get a rematch, even though the rematch clause is supposedly gone? I don't know. That remains to be seen. I expect it, because what they do makes no sense. And you have Rusev continue to be on this streak that he's on and be the new United States champion and use him. Use him. Don't just put the belt on him and leave him off the show like you did for Shinsuke, only calling him in when you need him to defend the championship. That's not what we want to see. We want to see Rusev as the champion, bringing a little bit more prestige back to the United States Championship. He was a great United States champion in his first run. He was the Machka, Rusev crush back then. He wasn't this happy-go-lucky, I love my wife and my birthday's on Christmas, happy Rusev Day, Rusev. But he was a great United States champion then. He can be a great United States champion again. I'm happy that he won, but where do we go with Nakamura now? If not for the rematch, where do they go with Nakamura? I don't know. And then you got AJ Styles attacking Mr. McMahon at the end of the show, which absolutely just sent my brain into a whole different rewiring. This, you know what, if that little segment at the end of this show didn't happen, I may have had a much more positive overlook on this whole entire show. But by them doing that, very random, very nonsensical, AJ Styles, Vince McMahon angle, it's just like, what the hell are they doing? Why would they do this? AJ Styles does not need to be fired up. AJ Styles needs to be put on the show. That's all he needs to do. He's going to go out there. He's going to give you one of the matches of the night. He's one of the best, if not the best, on the WWE roster right now. And what is the point of having him involved with a Vince McMahon? It doesn't make any fucking sense. And I can't stand it. Why would you need to make AJ Styles irate? What is Vince McMahon's plans with AJ Styles in the future? Why are they even involved? It doesn't make sense. I cannot wrap my head around it. What was Vince McMahon's motivation for even speaking to AJ Styles? And going back to what we said about McMahon Claus last night, this guy's back there with AJ Styles. He's got a 3-minute segment to do, and he botched everything. Stumbling on his words. That's what Vince McMahon sounded like. And then he threw the worst right slap you will ever see in the history of professional wrestling, only to get mushed in the mouth by AJ Styles, who's now standing there seething and irate and all pissed off. Why? Because an old man slapped you in the face and claimed that you have a black hole in your heart? What was that about? I guess we're going to have to wait and see on next week's SmackDown Live, and I already don't want to know about it. You know, you guys might think I'm going really hard on SmackDown Live. Like I said, it was a lot of action that was very good, and we are seeing a new face. I'm not saying some new faces. They want to say, oh, we got new faces and new matches. There's one new face, and it's Mustafa Ali. That's it. Everything else is exactly the same. From the dance break, friggin' Santa Claus segment in the beginning, all the way down through the rest of the card. Nothing makes sense. I did not enjoy the show as a drama, or all of the stuff they wrote and all the stories that they're going with, I'm not enjoying. But the match quality for the most part on this night was okay. And I guess you have to, like I said, 50-50, man. You take it good and you got to have the bad. Without the bad shit, there is never anything good. But it just seems there's never anything good at all when it comes to WWE main roster stuff. Thank you guys once again today. I don't know if I'm just really amped because Raw pissed me off and ruined my Christmas, and I'm being maybe a little extra hard. You guys let me know, and I look to you to tell me whether or not I'm being too hard on this thing, because that's my opinion. I wear it on my shoulder and I put it out there for you guys, and I want to know if you agree or disagree, because you're free to do so. And when you do that and you leave your comments in the comment section down below, make sure you stop by that subscribe button and smash it real hard if you enjoyed yourself tonight, or if you agree with anything I had to say tonight on this SmackDown Live review. Become part of the Sledgehead family here that we are growing on Sledgehammer TV by hitting that subscribe button right now, and join the 1,000+ that know that when you want your WWE reviews bullshit free, that Sledgehammer TV is the place to be. And then of course, smash that like button as always. If this way I know that you enjoyed the show, and the whole rest of the world knows that you guys enjoyed the show as well. Let's go with that goal of getting each and every video that we put up here on this channel to 100 likes, and continue to dominate on YouTube the way we have been, as 2018 is closing out in a big way here for us in the Sledgehead family, and we are going to continue to soar to the top all through the next year, even if it's on the back of some really, really bad WWE programming. And don't forget to share this video with each and every one of your wrestling buddies all over this wrestling world, especially if they were very confused about what happened with Vince and AJ Styles, which I wish I could shed much more light upon, but all I can do right now is shit on it until we see where it is really going. My name, my friends, is Nick Nightmare. This is my team, Thor the Sledgehammer, the official Sledgehammer of the Sledgehammer Wrestling Show and the Wrestling God of Thunder. His tag team partner, the World Heavyweight Champion of all the microphones in all the world. He is Mr. Blue, the Snowball, and the most important member of the team, as always, is you. So make sure you hit that subscribe button right now and become one of the best fans in the world, because that's all I have. All the best fans in the world. I hope you guys had a very, very Merry Christmas and enjoyed your holiday week so far. I will be back here all week long with you guys. We are going to get up a video of my 5 favorite matchups. I'll tell you guys what my 5 best matches of 2018 are. We'll maybe do a little special end of the year wrap up as the weekend and the year comes to a close this coming week. That, my friends, is not going to do it just yet, because I forgot we got to give some love to Audible, our official sponsor. Audible have books that speak to you, over 180,000 titles to choose from, ranging from professional wrestling autobiographies all the way to learning to speak a second language. Maybe you want to learn some Spanish or French or whatever. They got everything you need. They got you covered. All genres, all book types, all available to be ingested by your ears because you're too fucking lazy to flip pages and use your eyes, which is okay. And I got you covered if that's the case. All you got to do is go to audibletrial.com/sledgehammertv right now. Get your free audiobook when you sign up for that 30-day free trial. And even if you decide to end that trial at the 30-day mark, you will not be charged a thing, and you can keep that audiobook for the rest of your life. It's an awesome free opportunity to get at least one book that you might be interested and would not get any other way. All you gotta do, go to audibletrial.com/sledgehammertv right now. That's audibletrial.com/sledgehammertv. That now, my friends, is going to do it, and we are out of here, and we will see you next time right here on your new favorite wrestling show for the holidays and for 2019 and beyond. The Sledgehammer Wrestling Show right here on Sledgehammer TV. Merry Christmas.